We had a conversation with a recruiter one time, and she said, every time you stop to do these things, and it was a lot of admin things, she said, you put a stop sign on your business. You put a stop sign on your business because you have to pull back in and you have to go back. So you can't be out doing the things that only you can do. Like there are only certain people that can do certain things. I'm Courtney Weaver. Nobody else can be me. You're Michael, you're Drew, you're T. Like this is it. These are only the things that you can do.
In this episode, Courtney and I are going to sit down with Drew Griggs and Tiana Adams, and Drew is going to be talking about the importance of buying back your time and how he has done that, the process he's went through by hiring an executive admin, and Tiana is going to be sharing her experience of what that looks like from start to now and the things that she's picked up along the way and helped Drew with. With that being said, let's start the show. Hey, welcome to the Insurance Buzz. We are your hosts, Michael and Courtney Weaver, and today we are extremely excited. We're going to be talking about buying back your time, and we've got Drew Griggs and Tiana Adams, and we're going to be talking about the importance of having an assistant, delegation, some of the struggles that comes with it, the growing pains, but then the green grass on the opposite side, or once you get through the growing pains, right? So I'm pumped. Drew, Tiana, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having us. I'm excited to be here.
We are so pumped. All right, I'm going to call you T. I heard Drew call you T earlier, and I'm like, I feel like we're in it. Let's do it. Let's first talk with an overall description of what is your role and what are your responsibilities currently as they sit.
Okay, well, my responsibilities are a little bit of everything. Basically, anything Drew throws at me. We often call it Drew brain dumps, where I will get probably 15 emails in a row, just rapid fire. And it's Drew emptying out his brain and saying, hey, these are things that I want you to set aside for later so we can discuss in more detail. And then at that point, it's my job to take those brain dumps and organize them into something that's actually legible, and then determine what needs to happen from there, how to prioritize, whatever it may be. So whether that's scheduling, talking to potential clients, I don't know, what else we got?
There's a lot going on up there.
It's scary sometimes.
Yeah.
Drew, what made you make this shift? So I wanted to set it up a little bit because it sounds like you do a little bit of everything, Tiana. So I'm curious, Drew, what point in your career were you like, okay, was there a book you read? Was there just like so much stuff on your desk that you were like, okay, I have to make a shift? How did that happen?
Yeah, I think it was, you don't know what you have till it's gone. When I transitioned into the sales leader role, I got 2 assistants given to me. Now they had shared people, and so we weren't exclusive, but I had someone who was able to handle some email, some calendar, ordering of supplies, receipt organization, like all that kind of stuff. And then when I transitioned out of that role into consulting, I did not have that, and it was horrible. And I realized I don't want to go back to doing that stuff. I, one, forgot how to do it because I haven't done it in however many years. And 2, it's just misery. I'm just going to procrastinate. It's going to pile up, and it's going to be a hot mess. And so whenever I started shifting into wanting to scale and grow Freedom for Founders more, I knew I'm going to go crazy if I try to do this myself. So, I mean, after one client signing up, 2 maybe, I called her. She can tell you more of the details of the story, but we had already kind of been talking about some dreams she had of starting her own virtual assistant type business. And I called her up, was like, hey, can I be your first client? Because I need this bad for me to be able to do the things I want to do. So more for me, it was I had it in the past in a corporate role, and then shifting over, I didn't have it, and it didn't take very long for me to miss it. And so I called T up, and yeah, we've been running 100 miles per hour. Actually, we're probably like right around 12-month anniversary of that phone call.
Yep.
Is that about right?
Heck yeah.
4th of July. There we go. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. Okay, so Drew, walk me through this mindset because you have virtually no income coming in. You have 1, maybe 2 clients, which
Yeah.
And now you're saying, okay, I'm going to invest in my business with this person. Walk me through that process.
Oh man, I don't think I was thinking much about the money side. I just know money. I feel like, and this is an annoying statement to say. Feel free to edit this out if this is a douchebag comment. Sorry if that's not allowed to be said on here.
No editing.
And you can say douchebag on here. We're gonna let it fly.
Sorry, I never know. I'm always scared. So if this comes
we're in the
across
80s.
that
We can say that for
that
sure.
way, I would say I tend to find that if your problems you have are money problems, those can pretty quickly be fixed. One, I had some savings. I was able to just figure that out for a while cash flow wise. So technically, but two, if I can remove all of the friction from the job of scaling, I'm going to run 100 miles per hour. It's going to all, be a whole lot smoother. I'm going to wake up every day excited to get after it versus if I know with every client comes some insane amount of work, paperwork, onboarding, checklists. Sorry. I talk about this about everything she does. Sorry. I don't ever mean to blah about it. It's just, if I can greenlight everything to be just the stuff I was put on this planet to do, I'm not going to have an issue of thinking it's work. And so I'm going to do it all day, every day. If I have that come along with it, it's like this anchor slowing the boat down. And so it just sped everything up. It made it to where in a matter of a few months, we were near fully booked up. I don't think that would have been true if I tried to do it myself from day one.
I love that we are having this conversation. I just had this conversation last week when we were in Michigan, and I was sitting there talking to this woman who is a boss. She's a beast running this agency, and she was just overwhelmed and exhausted, and every word that came out of her mouth just sounded like, and I'm like, talk to me, like, what's going on here? And she's like, I need to hire more people. And everything that she was saying she needed to hire for, I'm like, that's an assistant. That's an assistant. That's not a producer. You're talking about you're overwhelmed at home, not at work. You're overwhelmed with the admin side of things at work, not actually meeting with customers or training your team or even the production. So I love that we're having this conversation because I think this transfers in every industry where you look at what am I doing really well and what are the things that just, to your point, blah, 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 that somebody else is like a Tiana comes in and is like, that's my jam. Give me that thing. Because we don't think about that. We think about our strengths as like, oh yeah, anyone can do that. And then our weaknesses are like, oh, I actually need to figure out how to learn how to do this thing. Instead of going, wait a minute, what if I just let somebody else do the thing that I don't want to do because they're better at it? Like genuinely better at it.
Yeah, and Tiana, we're going to get to you in just a second, I promise. But Drew, I got to ask you this question because we're very similar. So good work ethics. I don't want to speak for you, but I'm a control monster. And so it'd have been very easy for you to say, you know what, I'm going to make sales calls during the day. I'm going to grow my consulting and I'll do the service aspect of things at nighttime, bed, whatever. Like, there's always hours in the day that you could fill with work if you wanted to, and theoretically you could have made maybe saved a little bit more money, right? Versus hiring that early on. So, what was the ultimate deciding factor that you're like? Was it previous experience of being like, I could do that again, but I don't want to? Kind of walk me through that thought process of now is the right time to do this because I don't want to get what I would call into some of those old bad habits.
Yeah, it's a good way to think about it. I think one, if you don't have the access to capital to do it, and therefore the outcome is you are forced to do it, then there's nothing wrong with that. Then rock that out, do what you just said, do the daytime activities when the sun's up, do the nighttime activities when the sun goes down. I would just say be thinking as you're doing them. Like, have your list out, be auditing over those years, all the things you're doing. I can't wait. I'm dreaming about one day when I can hire this out, and then run, sprint as fast as possible to having an extra however many grand a month to be able to hire that out. So I'm not knocking on if it's necessary. I had been through that phase. I now have a 7-year-old kid. There's no chance in God's green earth I'm going to trade any of his hours for doing that work. And so a lot of it came down to just bow time, as I call it all the time. If it's bow time versus that work, it's not going to get done. And so then a client's not going to get the product they signed up for because they're not going to get the follow-up, the accountability, the check-ins, the deliverables. because I'm going to delay them, and I'm not going to do them late at night whenever Bo says, please read me the Dr. Seuss book again. I choose the book. So I think a little bit of it's ability, and if you've got the ability, say out loud what you're choosing. I'm choosing to save X amount per month over spend more quality time with my family at night whenever I'm doing all this homework. All right, if you're okay with saying that, then rock on, carry on, you're fine. It's probably going to give you heartburn to say that out loud. Therefore, there's your sign. Go find a good person to help you not have to do this anymore.
Oh, gosh, I love this too because I just got so fired up because there's something that happens when you're like, I'm not willing to make that trade, so I have to build a bigger business, which means that I have to be more intentional during my day, like more intentional during my working hours so that I can afford the person that I have to have. Like there's something about that might be the motivation that you need of like, okay, I need to get focused at work. I need to do whatever I need to get it done because I need that person here. So I'm not missing out on, to your point, bow time, being a parent, watching your kid grow up. I think that's, I get so far.
Yeah. Forget this is a joke I just came up with. It's freaking pure gold. I mean, like forget the Denali and the Cobalt, those payments together are an assistant. Like it's just trades and choices. And so I'll have friends like playfully mock, but they're having some fun with it. Oh, much my gosh, I'm an assistant. I'm like, yeah, I could just make more money. Like it's a choice. It's like I could just make that trade, but I'm choosing to be present where I'm at and not have to worry about this and not do the things I'm not put on this planet to do in exchange for making less. And that's what an owner does. They choose to profit less temporarily, I would argue, profit less in exchange for the life that they dream of. My business, whenever I'm not coaching with you guys, is freedom for founders. That's what freedom is to me, is doing what you want to do with who you want to do it, when you want to do it. And the only way I know how to do that is by surrounding yourself with good people who can help make that happen.
Yep. Amen. We had a conversation with a recruiter one time, and she said, every time you stop to do these things, and it was a lot of admin things, she said, you put a stop sign on your business. You put a stop sign on your business because you have to pull back in and you have to go back. So you can't be out doing the things that only you can do. Like there are only certain people that can do certain things. I'm Courtney Weaver. Nobody else can be me. You're Michael, you're Drew, you're T. Like this is it. These are only the things that you can do. So let's get into a little bit of like nitty gritty. That transition, what did you give her? Like right off the bat, what are some things and how did that transition go?
What did I give you?
Very first thing.
Once it's gone from the brain, I don't remember it anymore. So
That's a quote we use all the time. Once it's gone, he doesn't think about it again until I bring it up and be like, hey, this, and this happened. I did this task. He goes, oh yeah, I forgot I asked you to do that. The very first thing was email management. At the time when I first signed on with him, he was operating out of 3 emails, like regularly operating out of 3 email accounts. So what we did was we funneled all 3 of those emails into one account, and then I managed it. Majority of them were junk emails, promotions, things like that, stuff that didn't matter, but either way, it takes time to quick review that email and delete it. That's a second out of your day. And so from there, we really focused on email management, getting those dwindled down. Any of the important ones that I did not feel I could handle yet, I didn't have Drew's voice yet, do the responses or anything like that, I would funnel towards his folder. So his 150 emails in the first 4 hours of the day turned into 4 emails for him to manage. And then I handled everything else in between. Second would be calendar management. Calendar management. Now we laugh at that because he now will say, hey, I need to ask T's permission. He'll never say yes to something anymore. He'll always say, I have to talk to Tiana first, which I appreciate because he'll throw something at me and be like, hey, I have this to add to the calendar. Like, hey, Drew, you can't fit it that day. You have 3 coaching calls. You do, in fact, have to eat at some point in between those coaching calls. So we're giving you a little break here. So email management and calendar management have been the 2, I think, most important.
Yeah.
day-to-day tasks that I think have really helped.
Yeah, that got it going. That was a lot of peace. I got in trouble. I often joke, I think Tiana, I work for Tiana. I got in trouble because I decided to take on the load. I was out of town. Hey, I'll just take over this. I'll schedule some stuff while I was in a different time zone. And the calendar had changed on my clock on my computer. And so I triple and quadruple booked all kinds of stuff. It was a cluster cleaning it up. And she said, this is why you don't do this anymore. I do this. Do not do this to me, please. So anyways, she had to clean up my mess. That was the end. And it's actually this cool, intentional constraint. Michael, you're a yes man. I know you struggle to say no, just like I do. We're pleasers. And, Courtney, I know you don't struggle with that like me and Michael do. But it takes away the default quick yes. I don't have to come up with a no that's finessed. And I truly am not allowed. I don't know. I cannot help you with that. Let me get you connected with Tiana, and she'll find a slot for us. And then she can go, ooh, he's going to be on this side of town. He can meet them in person for coffee. She can think, whereas I'm just going to throw it somewhere and, fidget, and then I'm running all over, stressed and overbooked. So, yeah, it's definitely helped protect me from me, I guess is the way to say that.
Yeah. He's an overbooker for sure. He will.
I'm just optimistic about what all can get done in a day. I don't know why it would take 2 hours to do 2 hours worth of work. Why couldn't we do it in an hour? And why do 20-minute drives always take 20 minutes? Why don't they take 10 sometimes? I don't get it.
Well, we haven't figured out how to teleport yet. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah.
That's your superpower. Okay, so you brought something up there that I'm going to drill down on. You said, okay, so I double booked, and it was, this is why you don't do the thing. So talk to me about, has there been moments where handing off responsibilities has been a challenge? Because let me share this. Our COO, we were probably 6 months, maybe a year into it, and she had a come to Jesus talk with us. And she said, I cannot do my job if you do not allow me to do my job. Because what we would do is we would give her a big task, and we're like, ooh, this is big. And we'd let her do just a little bit of it, and then we're like, let me just jump in, and let me just put my paws in there and see what's going on. And then we'd mix it all up. And then she's like, okay, are you finishing it? Am I finishing it? What's happening? And it was a tough
Those are growing,
go.
growing pain.
Because we were gripping so tight because it had been, as an entrepreneur, it's your baby. This is your thing that you're like, okay, if I'm not paying obsessive attention with it, is it still going to grow? So talk to me a little bit about that dynamic between you two.
Truthfully, we haven't experienced too much of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because he brought me on from the very, very beginning. So from that beginning, he said, this is what I want to focus on. I'm going to get the clients. I'm going to do the coaching calls. I'm going to be the face of everything. It's like, I want you to run my business in the background. So we luckily haven't really ran into that. Sometimes I feel like he almost over-delegates because there's a few tasks that I just can't quite handle, that it does need his signature of approval on, that it needs his touch, his voice, his business expertise. But what I always try to do in those situations is at least do some of the footwork. One of those being, honestly, figuring out the business licensing when we first started out. He's like, I don't want to bother with that. He's like, call the county and figure out what I need for a business license. And here's my accountant's info. Contact him. He might have some information. So I was deer in the headlights at first, trying to figure out, okay, I just started my own business. It's set up very differently than his, but I've got to figure it out. Mm-hmm. So I've always tried with him to say, hey, I don't know how to do this task, but I'll figure it out. And if I can't figure it out, I'll find someone who can. So it's even just taking that little bit of mental load off of him, just being like, you don't have the answers, I don't have the answers, but I find someone who does, and it's just, he doesn't have to think about it at that point. But I don't know. Yeah, definitely feel like he over-delegates, but it's okay.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of trust aspect needed, but I think trust bi-directional, and that means the delegatee, I'm just going to say assistant for the title, name your person, whatever, but the assistant needs to know they can come in and say, I don't know how to do this, I need help, and know that they're going to be heard and not, oh my gosh, whatever, like barked back at. And so I err on the side of, I'm going to fire hydrant dump everything on you, usually in waves, just like that. And I need you to communicate back and go, slammed, I got family stuff, I don't know how to do this, whatever, and we'll work together. But there's like, I mean, this is a good example that I think is very powerful for me. We have a prospect who's outside of our normal scope of normal industry. He wants a prospecting plan put together, and I would love to take that client on. I told him we were booked until August, but we could talk to them. So I just told her, hey, put this together. Like, get a starter package. I don't imagine she's going to put it together, meet with the prospect, close the deal, get the commission, like all this stuff. Like, no, but I love, and so she did. She typed up this draft, beautiful. Here's what's going to be included, all this wonderful stuff in it. Well, now it's 80% done. I'll just finish it, and then I'll take it to the client and present it. And so there's some magic. An idea person, like most owners and dreamers, is going to dream up 15 things a day and start 0. And so there's magic to having someone help you start 5 of those. And there's actually progress that can happen and fulfillment of those things actually coming to fruition. So there has to be understanding on the delegatee. This person is not saying, if you can't figure this out, oh my gosh, you're ridiculous. And then the boss, or whatever the title is got to understand, handle it calmly whenever they are coming back saying, hey, I don't know how to handle this. Because guess what? Next time she will. And also, I hate taxes and licenses, and I don't want to do that stuff. But I don't want to deal with that. And so I want to pass that on and do it. Well, guess what? Nobody does. Nobody likes it. And it's a tough one to figure out. But hey, here's the resources. Here's a person to call. Here's this. Here's that. Set them up for success. I think often we catch people messing up more often than we help people succeed. Oh. And if we can give them a couple tools and an opportunity to wow us, I think we'll be impressed by people more often.
Dude, that's a mic drop right there.
That is a mic drop. Because you get what you're looking for, typically.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for problems, you're going to find problems. If you're looking for
Areas
good things, you're going to look, and the biggest thing about like what I'm also hearing is I'm hearing that there's a sense of accountability there as well, which is really nice for what I believe as business owners is we do have lots of ideas. We have lots of things going on. We have lots of irons in the fire. And having an executive assistant or someone right there by your side not only keeps you organized, keeps you intentional, but it also is like, hey, you said you were going to get this done. Where's this at? Like, I need this. And so they can also help with prioritizing and help with organizing and holding you accountable to actually doing all these great things you say you're going to do. But sometimes as type A's, we get busy and we're like, oh crap, we should have had that done yesterday and we haven't even started on it yet. So I love this. I would be curious. So email management, calendar management, because in my own personal experience, I used to think that this was just a little bitty thing that I'm like, I can do it myself. And so what I've found is that by having an executive assistant, it freed up way more time than I thought it would. It also, what the benefit that I think, T, and you can, I guess, tell me what your experience is with this, but I actually think that by allowing Drew to brain dump, it allows Drew to perform at a higher what word am I searching for here? Ultimately, you're going to be
ungodly level of awesomeness. I can fill it in. I can help.
Yeah. So because now you don't have all these things going around in brain space, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to be able to perform at ungodly levels, right? Like just being able to do what Drew does, like amazing, while T is taking care of the things that took up a lot of brain space that didn't allow clarity in what you were doing every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Just like, it's when you go to sleep at night and you have all these to-do list items running through your brain. So you take out your Apple Notes or notepad and you write them all down. Okay, they're out of your brain, but they're down on a piece of paper. Now you have to deal with that later. So the benefit for him is he sends them to me, and he's like, I don't have to do them later. They're going to be taken care of.
Yep.
So it takes off a whole extra element that he doesn't have to worry about them later on. And we use tools, simple tools, Microsoft Planner. When I get those brain dumps, depending on what they are, I will list them out in the planner, assign them to whoever they belong to, both of us, just me, whatever. We have access to each other's planners. So if ever all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, something pops up and he thinks, oh, I wonder where we're at on that. It's so easy for him to just hop into Planner, see, oh, okay, I see Tiana made this comment on this day. This is where the project's at. He doesn't even have to take the time to text me or email me.
Yeah.
He can just look and review it.
Yep.
I didn't even remember that. Yeah, that was early on in us working together. I was like, I'm sorry, we have to. Earlier, Courtney, you were asking about like how is it hard to delegate? We kind of lied and said it's easy, and I do it a lot. But
Yeah, you definitely lied.
This is easy.
This is so
yeah,
great.
yeah.
I'm like,
Sometimes once you like do stuff, you kind of forget
Yeah,
the
you
transition.
forget,
It's
yeah.
been a minute.
Yeah.
But I call this the dark side of delegation. We think in life when we delegate a task, a project, that it's gone and we don't have to worry about it and it'll be taken care of. Well, we all know there's management of the delegated item. So it doesn't mean you're doing it, but you still manage that it gets done, ensures it gets done. And I remember just one time, like I was like, we have to have a talk. I am delegating stuff and I'm like freaking out and it's spinning up here because I don't know where it's at, especially the longer projects.
Because he didn't want the done emails. He doesn't want to send an email and me to respond done. That's just something clogging up the email.
Yeah, I don't even want to read my emails
Yeah.
at all, any of them. Yeah. And so it was like this closed loop type thing. And I was like, when it's 10 o'clock at night and I can't sleep and I'm thinking about pitch to the venture capital guys we were just talking about, I would like to not text Tiana at 10 o'clock at night. We've all been there where we've used that deal. And I can just open it up and look and go, oh, she has typed up draft, sent it over to me, waiting on approval and edits. Cool. Okay, now I can go to sleep because it's out of my brain. I think that whirlwind, that reminds me of that Mark Twain quote, is we face many a trouble in life, most of which will never happen. It's like half of the entrepreneur's problem is up here. It's not even actual things going on.
Yep.
It's just the whirlwind worrying and thinking and dreaming about tomorrow and what's going on. And so, yeah, it's nice to be able to, when I have those, or board at an airport or whatever, to go, wonder what's update on that project. I can go see and then have peace of mind that it's being handled, or have confirmation it's behind and look at it and go, hey, saw this is 5 days past due. What's the game plan to get it back on track? Oh, yep, sorry, I prioritized this other thing for a little while. I'm back on it. Thank you for checking in. And then it becomes like a partnership helping each other win, not, again, back to a gotcha, messed up on this assignment, got behind, whatever.
That's good.
So I want to get into some tools because this episode is fantastic. But if somebody does not have tea, because they don't, Drew has her, and they want to start implementing or looking for somebody, let's talk a little bit about the tools that you're using and the characteristics that somebody should be looking for.
Yes, that is where I was going. Holy shit, yes. Let's go. Boom. Yes, so that is where I wanted to go, because we could talk about like roles and responsibilities, but I think like in my experience with like our admin, it was a little bit different than, so I think everyone's definition of what an executive admin looks like, what they're going to be doing both professionally and personally, are a little bit different. But I would love to know like maybe the top 2 or 3 tools you're currently using to help with like communication efficiency, and then more. And I am very curious. I wrote this down just so you know I wasn't lying. Is I wanted to know, T, what characteristics you believe a good executive admin needs to have. Like, what are some non-negotiables that for somebody like us that are going to go out and find an EA, what should we be looking for?
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, starting off the tools, we already mentioned one, super simple. It's built into Microsoft. It's just their planner tool. It's a to-do list items. You're able to schedule due dates. You're able to mark if it's in progress, if it's done, just kind of manage your projects that way. And then it gives you daily reminders. Drew introduced me to Loom. Mm-hmm. So being able to do
Gives you feedback. You can see when somebody watched it. It's so
Yeah.
good. And you can comment at certain
Just
spots.
those little tasks, like remarkable notes, and some of that little technical things.
Yeah.
Real quick, brag on Tiana sorry, you reminded me of the planner. I used to use Monday.com, which is an Asana type thing or whatever.
Yep.
And my account was free because of the amount of tasks used, plus it was one user. And we were trying to scale it to be able to work together on it. And it was cool because I was like, hey, fix this, upgrade it, make it to where we can do all this stuff. And I love, this is our early moment on because it was a trust moment for me. She said, hey, it's fine, I can do that, but if you're open to it, I'd love to pivot to Microsoft Planner. One, we already use Microsoft for everything. Two, Monday.com is about to cost a lot of money, and upgrading doesn't feel worth it. I'd rather just shift now before we get too in the weeds. And it was a cool moment because she was spending my dollars like they were hers, and it was a cool, like, oh, she's thinking like a business owner alongside of me, not, well, boss's credit card, whatever it is, what it is. So anyways, quick brag. High five.
Yes. Yes.
You got to get on y'all's level. So.
I know. This is so much energy.
Yeah, Loom, Planner, of course, Outlook and email.
Yeah, I'll look in email. What other
I had to stop. Ooh, this is a good one. This is don't do. We've all read a text while we're driving and then put it up and then not seen it. So I had to stop texting Tiana my brain dumps. I was like
Or just quit
them.
texting while driving.
Oh, well, I don't do that. I mean, I voice text while driving, but I mean, I'm not texting.
I have called him out on it so many times. He's like, I'm on a 6-hour drive across the state. And I'll be like, why are you texting? Put down your phone. I'm voice texting.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same. But the point is, like, the text is like this easy thing to lose things in.
For sure.
And it's like, come on, why didn't you? But emails are one at a time to-do list items. That was good feedback from her.
He would send me voice memos.
Yeah,
and
that's
if
it.
you don't purposely save the voice memo after you listen to it, it disappears. So I was then taking screenshots of the transcript and emailing them to myself so I wouldn't lose that information. So after it happened a few times, I was like, yeah, I like these, but if at all possible, let's stick to one mode of communication when you're doing this type of info. Because then I'm looking at my emails, I'm looking at Planner, I'm looking at my text messages, I'm listening to voicemails.
Limit the inboxes. That was a big learning for me. That was good pushback from her to trim down the amount of places that Drew to-do list items can go, cleaned up a lot. So that helped.
I think that applies too with feedback, because I will find myself giving feedback via email, giving feedback via Loom, giving feedback via Monday, giving feedback via Google Drive. And it's like, wait a minute. Texting,
Yeah, text has become, I think our two rules on text are personal/funny or urgent.
Yeah.
Like today I said, hey, please review the email before 12:30, blah, 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 because it's something that need to be viewed before a meeting.
Yep.
But otherwise, get to it when you get to it kind of thing is the default. So I think if it's urgent, a text or a call can come in, or like GIFs and emojis that are funny. So
That's a good rule.
keep that there. And that way the email stays business, the planner still stays business, and everything else can just not get lost in the weeds.
Okay. Characteristics T. Come on. Give us the T.
All right. So earlier, you all were talking about how there's certain tasks that you just hate doing, blah, 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 you don't want to do them. There's someone out there who loves doing those tasks. And that's the type of person you need to find. So it makes me physically cringe when I think of myself doing Drew's job. I could not be a coach. It's just the large scale. I'm so impressed with all of you for doing that. I can't do that. He doesn't want to do the little tasks. I love Excel spreadsheets. When I create a beautiful Excel sheet, I'm like a kid giving a coloring page after they've done coloring it. And I'm like, look at what I did. Give me a pat on the back. So there's someone out there who wants to do those tasks and loves doing them.
You're going to kick it off with Excel? Oh, my God.
She's being, no, it's bad, guys. I remember sending her, I was like, hey, I need you to build a system that tracks our KPIs, both personal and professional, and prospects in the funnel, quarterly revenue, like all this stuff. I was like, just do that. I was envisioning ugly, simple Excel inputs, and I just need a status bar. Oh, no. color-coded theme to match our website, progress bar. As you input it, the bar grows, and the pie chart and the dashboard. And I was like, oh my gosh, like way over-delivered. This is awesome. And it was just cool because there's no chance in God's green earth I would have ever, one, even finished the project in the first place. And two, it definitely wouldn't be beautiful and wonderful and clean and neat. And so, yeah, I can attest to her skill set in that department. Man, she killed this one thing. Sorry. It's funny, like when you pause every once in a while and slow down enough to think about things you're grateful for. But I had this fall planning retreat last year, and this was still somewhat early. We were 3 months in. And so we were still figuring out the kinks. And I gave her a lot. That was one of those COO projects you referenced earlier, like a big project. Hey, help make all this happen. And for the most part, when I turn something over, I give it over. I don't dip my hand back into it too much, unless I get secretly impatient in the middle of the night and then I steal one of the items. But anyways, I will never forget. It was the Wednesday before the event, 24 hours before it starts. And she shows up with this bag, and it had all the journals with everybody's name, all the details. Everything's organized. The pins are in there. It's like it's ready. It's deliverable, ready to the client that are coming, that have paid a lot of money to come to this event. Agendas and all this stuff, beautiful, and the coffee for the event, cigars, and all this wonderful stuff that she, curated and got together. And then the cherry on top, an Americano and a breakfast sandwich. And this is like 2:00 in the afternoon. I hadn't eaten or had caffeine, and I was hurting. And I was like fading. And it was like she knew, like, because she can look at my calendar and know real fast. Like, she knew he is not going to have space in his life today for this, and I need to deliver this plus some. And I remember, like, who thinks about that? It was the coolest moment ever. So that was appreciated. And the intricacy of the detail of all the things, I didn't have to think. I just got to show up and do my thing and be a good host.
Dang, T.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm like, this whole podcast is going to skirt real fast. And we're going to be like,
bar.
Yeah, we're going to take her. Okay, so organized, detail-oriented. What else? Organized, detail-oriented.
So organized, good communication,
okay.
detail-oriented, hard worker, obviously, whatever you classify as a hard worker. But anything else popping out?
Yeah, someone who is willing to take feedback. That's so important, that they have to be receptive to your feedback. They may do things a little bit differently, and you say, hey, specifically, I want it done this way, and they don't need to be offended by anything. If you want to change something, it is your business. You need to be able to talk to your assistant and say, hey, this is my vision for my business. This is what I want in this specific aspect. Do you mind doing it this way? Sure. Sounds good. But it is so important to not be afraid of someone who thinks differently than yourself. Drew, I think Drew and I are often on the same page, but every now and then I'll have an idea that's a little bit different, and he gives me freedom to do exactly whatever I think it's correct in the situation, especially when it comes to a space that I'm operating in. So if it's how to set up the Excel spreadsheets as a simple example, he's never going to go into the Excel sheet. He wants to be able to look at it on a nice presentation. He's never going to go in there and operate. So he knows that it's probably not best that he specifies how it needs to be done. So people just think differently, and I think that's a good thing.
For the record,
It's a great thing.
there are times I have opinions about how things could slightly be different. Maybe even one would argue better. But I feel like you got to choose your hills to die on.
Yep.
I just, if it's 95% perfect, and I'm like, well, that one thing, I don't even really know if that's a better way to do it. I haven't pressure tested it. I'm not sure.
Right.
She's going to have to work in this system all the time. CRM, email, Outlook, task management, whatever example you want to give. Who cares? It's her baby. Let her run with it. And then the big ones, if there's ever a big thing, this actually isn't quite right, then save it for that so it doesn't feel like you're getting nitpicked every time you try to use your creativity. And so there's, times where I'll go, oh, yeah, it's not exactly nailed what I had envisioned in my mind, but it's some version of better, different, but indifferent. It's not going to change the outcome. Or like a complete curveball I didn't even think of. Like, wow, thank goodness I hire a person who has a separate brain because they can come up with different ideas, better ideas at times. And why are we going to waste our time going, no, I wanted it, blue shade, not dark blue shade, when it's indifferent and it's 4-hour emails back and forth. Like, just think through. It's kind of like with kids or a spouse or anything else. It'd get real rough if every single little tiny mistake you decided to take the opportunity to show them their distance between where they are and perfection. And so, yeah, I think I do a pretty good job of that. She does a great job of reading my mind, too. So it all works. She's learned very quickly how I operate and is now my mind reader. And we send each other identical texts somewhat simultaneously sometimes. That's cool. Over time it gets better. But we're still learning, too. I mean.
Yeah, and that's something with it, too, patience. It takes time. It takes time to work out the kinks. And to be fair, Drew and I had an unfair advantage. We knew each other prior to our working relationship. So I knew his personality already. I knew how much I could joke with him versus how serious I needed to be. So that element was taken away because we didn't even have to worry about it. We knew each other. But we still had little kinks and things to work out. His time expectations versus my time expectations. If he didn't explicitly say, I need it done by Wednesday, and I'm thinking, okay, I've got this, this, and this. I'm going to have it done on Friday. Yep. And then all of a sudden Wednesday comes around, he's like, hey, what's the update on this? Like, oh, I didn't realize it was that much of a priority. So it comes down to communication.
Yeah, that one was a good learning for me. That was good.
Yeah, yep. Just having different timelines.
Don't you know that everything is important and needs to get out?
That's right. Everything is due right now, always, forever. Yes.
Oh my God. We had to do this. We had to red light, green light, yellow light. What is the thing that because everything should have been done yesterday. It's like, what are we still doing talking about this? And so I love that you bring that point up because there's so much stuff that and just as people, it doesn't matter what your role is, there's so much information that we keep in our head that we think we communicate, that we think we overly communicate, that we don't. And it's this really communicating, what are the expectations, what does done look like, and when is it done? How is that delivered to me? How do I know? Obviously, we're not sending Drew an email that says done because he's not going to read it. But just getting that cadence, I think, is a huge piece of this. I think that's so.
How great would that be for you to say done and then go into the inbox and then delete the email that says done?
I may or may not have done that a few times.
That'd be great.
It's archived, so if ever I needed proof, hey, I sent you a done email.
I got that. I love this. The only thing that I would add to this, when I was prepping for this podcast, it made me think of one of the agents that we worked with in the very beginning, and she was very outgoing, top performer. She had an all-female team, and there were all these different sales targets that they had, and obviously production that they needed to meet, but she was struggling getting everyone kind of on the same team. And she put on a wall sticky notes of every single task that needed to be done in the office, and she let them pick. So they got to go up and pick their task that they wanted to do. She said it blew her mind what people were picking. She had the wrong people in the wrong seats. So I think, to kind of sum that up, you might have somebody that has those characteristics of an assistant already in your office that is asking for more work. You're trying to give them maybe something that they're not excited about. You might be trying to put them in the wrong seats.
Well, and you don't, sometimes we think we need to hire and then we think only full-time, all in.
I was going to just say,
And so what you were saying, spot on, maybe that person can be shifted and then we bring in a part-timer to fill in their role. Or if you don't have anybody that fits the EA type position, we can sample and try on something before we go all in. And there's interns who could be a trial run, seasonal, little temp, or other options where you could test run this to make sure before you go all in. So, I don't even think we understood what it would change over to. Really, truly, Tiana she doesn't work for me. Tiana owns a virtual assistant company, okay? And I am a client of hers. So the joke's on me. I work for her. But I essentially just kept adding stuff. I was like, I want to know how much I can give you and how much I can pay you to where you're mostly exclusive to me. I'm greedy, and so I wanted all the attention. And so so that's how it really kind of built. We didn't really know it was going to turn into, but it morphed into like partners. I'll say our numbers. Today we did our number update. She goes, our revenue hit our quarterly goal, like hour. And so it's this cool hour thing. We talk about our clients. I send her text. When someone sends a brag in, when she sees an email, she'll screenshot it and be like, oh my gosh, so cool how much we're helping people. And it's just neat.
There was something that happened the other day, a funny story. He just texted me, let's go. You know how Drew does. And I was like, I'm excited. I don't know why we're excited, but I'm excited. I said, I feel like a dog. Like, I'm just excited because you're excited. So what are we excited about?
Another one of those, like, assume she would read my mind moments. Oh yeah, I need to give context and give an understanding of what's going on. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'll add to the whole personal, like, knowing each other. Her husband, one of my best friends, but so we've known each other. But I'd say two things there. One is use that as like not as that's their situation. Well, look around to your personal circle. Mm-hmm. You probably have someone who you just make conversation with. So how's your job going? And well, what do you like doing? I bet you there's somebody in your circle. So that's part one. And two is if you kick it off with somebody, start with the lower trust items that's not exactly needed. Maybe don't text message your credit card the second she starts working. That's real. Maybe don't give email inbox. That one's scary for a lot of people because there's messages in there. And I get all that. Don't go, I can't do what they did because I don't have someone I know and trust, so this whole idea is out. Just massage it to what makes sense for you and the relationship you have with the person that you choose to move forward with this on, and start with the things that are a little safer, more comfortable.
Drew, I love your advice. I was actually going to say, do the hard shit and just go ahead and give that email, all right? Like, give the email task away and just freaking let that control monster, put him in the closet and just let what happens.
Because that's exactly
happens.
how it went down for you.
Well, I'm speaking from experience
okay, there you
here.
go.
I'm speaking from experience.
I did the same thing. We had a personal assistant, and I'm like, I almost climbed in the damn car with her to go pick up the dry cleaning. Because I'm like, what in the shit am I doing? I'm like, because the thing that we haven't talked about that I would like to just mention before we button up this episode is let people help you. As you are building the thing that you are building, let people be a part of that. Let people support you. That is not a sign of weakness. That is literally how we are all going to grow. And these people that lift you up, you have to have them. Like none of us are self-made. None of us. We all need an army of people around us that are doing the things that we can't do, don't want to do, or don't have the time to do. So that's my big nudge.
Agreed.
In any aspect, whether it's personal or professional, maybe it's a hybrid blend of both, and you're letting them return your Amazon packages and then, setting appointments for you. Whatever that looks like, let somebody help you if you're at that spot, because when you're at your best, everyone around you starts to become at their best too. So
With that being said, that's a mic drop. So, Drew, let's start with you, and then T, I'll have you do this as well. Drew, obviously, you're working with us at Weaver Sales Academy. You're amazing, but you're also helping agents and business owners out across the country, coaching one-on-one. If somebody wanted to find out more about what you're doing, work with you one-on-one, what's the easiest way for them to do that?
Easiest just at the website, which is True Freedom, the number 4, founders.com, truefreedomforfounders.com. Email and all that stuff's on there, and we'll get a little session together. Or sign up for Weaver. Then you'll hear me coaching on Tuesdays on occasion. You'll get a little sampler from the buffet on how I operate, and then decide if you want that in your life more often with heavier accountability and more one-on-one time. So there's an easy way to dip your toe into it before deciding. I'll end just because Tiana will really be upset about me doing this, and truly say there's 0% chance Freedom for Founders is where it is without her help the last year. Aww. So thank you a lot. There's no chance I would have had the patience and the time management. It's been a interesting year, the last 12 months of my life, and I know that the wheels would have fallen off the thing, or the ceiling would have been way lower without her help. So just want to say thank you.
Thanks. You're welcome. Appreciate it.
Heck yeah. And Tiana, if somebody wanted to just maybe follow you, maybe they wanted to reach out and be like, hey, I'm thinking about hiring this person. Character, I don't know. What's the best way for them to do that?
Just don't reach out to Tiana. She's slammed. Oh man, she's slammed, guys. It's gonna be,
Well, I have a super easy email. It's tianaadamsvirtualassistant.com.
Perfect. That's easy.
Yeah.
Easy and simple.
Super easy.
Y'all crushed it. Thank you for coming on. T, thank you for sharing, because this is a unique, this is a very unique episode. Like, a lot of us talk about buying back your time, but I've honestly never heard a podcast episode out of all the podcasts I've ever listened to, what we've conducted on the Buzz.
I agree.
Ever like talk about what this looks like, some of the struggles, characteristics, the tools you're using, some of the first things you took off Drew's plate. So thank you so much for being willing to come on the Buzz today and just share your experience and reiterate. I think this is one of the most important parts is the things that some of us hate, other people love, and that's the beautiful thing about this. And we need help. We can't get to the top.
How
on our
stoked
own.
were you about this video and speaking and all this? How fired up were you?
This made me immediately want to vomit.
I figured on a scale of 1 to 10, you were gonna say
-4.
0.
He told me at pickleball. I guess he sent an email right before we met up at pickleball, and I just immediate anxiety. I was just like, Drew, there's no way. There's no way. I am introvert, extrovert on the line. Things like this do not fill the bucket. They just they just don't. I always tell him, I said, I want to be the face of nothing. I want to be behind the scenes doing all of that. But yes, so it was a lot of fun, though. I appreciate you guys.
Well, you
Thank you
did
for coming on.
absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for stepping out of your comfort zone and being willing to come on and help others. Seriously, like what you shared today is really good stuff that isn't talked about a lot. So thank you.
No problem. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So for all of those of you who tuning into the Buzz today, thank you always for your support. If you haven't considered getting an assistant yet, I hope that this podcast episode at least gets the brain going a little bit about ideally what does the future look like? What are some things that you could delegate to somebody that would love to do that so you could do more things that you love to do and maybe it has nothing to do with work? Maybe you want to go out and just play some golf. Go play some more golf, baby. So with that being said, thank you so much for your support. As always, time and attention are by far our most important assets. We appreciate you spending time with us today on the Buzz. Go out and make it great.
Go get it.